This is a good song. The current topic, Bismarck. Um, do we need a do we need a picture on stream chat? Nein. Nein, bis Zweck in Deutsch. So we have the German battleship Bismarck. If I just put that down here. Can you guys see properly? Can you read? Can everyone in the class see? If I just do this. Is this better? Yeah. Okay, so we're having a little bit of a history class today, I guess. Thanks to Texas. Okay, so. Oh, I can't scroll very well for this. Goodbye. Oh my. Okay. I can't scroll like at all on this. That's funny. That's so stupid. Honestly, Bismarck, what a beauty. What a beauty. Oh, you know what? That works. Yeah, you know what? This works, chat. You know what? Yeah, we can just do this. You know? And then I can just go to the Wikipedia page and begin reading off of the Wikipedia page of Bismarck. I hope you understand that you did this text. So, the Bismarck was the first two Bismarck-class battleship built for the Nazi Germany's Reichsmarine, named after Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. The ship was laid down at the Bollmann-Voss shipyard in Hamburg in July of 1936 and launched in February of 1939. Work was completed in August of 1940. When she was commissioned into the German fleet, Bismarck and her sister ship, Tirpitz, were the largest battleships ever built by Germany, and two of the largest built by any European power. Of course, in the warship's 8 days, oh no. Of course, in the warship's 8-month career, Bismarck conducted only one offensive operation that lasted 8 days in May of 1941, codenamed Rheinebum. The ship, along with heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen, was to break into the Atlantic Ocean and raid the Allied shipping from North America to Great Britain. The two ships were detected several times off Scandinavia, and British naval units were deployed to block their route. At the Battle of the Denmark Strait, the battlecruiser HMS Hood initially engaged Prince Eugen, probably by mistake, while HMM Prince of Wales engaged Bismarck. And in the ensuing battle, Hood was destroyed by the combined fire of Bismarck and Prince Eugen, which then damaged Prince of Wales, forced her retreat. Bismarck suffered significant damage from 3 hits by Prince of Wales to force the end of the raiding mission. The destruction of Hood relented a pursuit by the Royal Navy involving dozens of warships 2 days later, heading for occupied France for repairs. Bismarck was attacked by 15 ferry swordfish torpedo bombers from the aircraft carrier HMS Ark Royale. One scored a hit that rendered the battleship's steering gear inoperable. Am I doing good? Is this is this entertainment? Is reading Wikipedia articles entertaining? I don't know. Should I swap over to ASMR? I feel like this is considered ASMR to some degree. Because I am just reading Bismarck. Um, okay, I have to swap this over to ASMR because I am reading. Goddamn. I mean, yeah, no, this is a really good story of Bismarck, the German warship. I got let me let's see. I was do do do. Okay, where did I leave off to? Bismarck is two battleships. Okay, steering gear inoperable. In her final battle the following morning, the already crippled Bismarck was engaged by two British battleships and two heavy cruisers, and sustained incapacitating damage and heavy loss of life. The ship was scuttled to prevent her being boarded by the British and allowed the ship to be abandoned so as to limit further casualties. Most experts agree that the battle damage would have caused her to sink eventually. The wreck was located in June of 1989 by Robert Ballard and has since been further surveyed by several other expeditions. The design of the two Bismarck class battleships were designed in the middle of the 1930s by the German Kriegsmarine as a counter to the French naval expansion. Specifically, the two Reille class battleships France started in 1935, laid down after the signing of the Anglo-German Naval Agreement of 1935. Bismarck and her sister ship Tirpitz, Tirpitz were nominally within the 35,000 long ton limit imposed by the Washington Naval Treaty that governed battleships construction in the interwar period. The ships secretly exceeded the figure by a wide margin, though before either vessel was completed, the international treaty system had fallen apart following Japan's withdrawal in 1937, allowing signatories to invoke an escalator clause that permitted displacement as high as 45,000 tons. The general characteristics of the ship, of course, being 41,700 tons, as built as 50.3 thousand tons, with 49.5 tons fully loaded, with an overall length of 251 meters, and that is in American units, 823 feet and 6 inches, with a beam of 36 meters, being 118 feet and 1 inch. That's funny, Cap. And a maximum draft of 9.9 meters, being 32 feet and 6 inches in American freedom units. The battleship was Germany's largest warship and displaced more than any other European battleship, with the exception of the HMS Vanguard commissioned after the war. Bismarck's hull used 90% welded construction to save weight. It was divided into 22 watertight compartments and had a double bottom that ran for 83 of the ship's length. 83% of the ship's length. Bismarck was powered by three Voss geared steam turbines, driving three-bladed screw propellers, steam provided by 12 fired Wagner superheated boilers, which were vented through a singular large funnel amidships. Propulsion system was rated to produce 138,000 metric horsepower, which is 136,000 shp, for a top speed of 29 knots, also known as 54 kilometers an hour or 33 miles per hour. The ship significantly exceeded both figures on speed trials, reaching, well, 30.01 knots or 55.58 kilometers an hour, or American freedom units of 34.53 miles per hour. The ship stored 6.4 tons of oil in the boilers, which gave her a cruising range of 8,800 no 8.870 nautic miles. Goddamn. Which being 16. Wait, no, this is no, I was yeah, no, this is 16,430 kilometers or 10,210 miles at 19 knots. That would be 35 kilometers an hour or 22 miles per hour. The standard crew numbered 103 officers and 1,962 enlisted men. When Bismarck left port, fleet staff, prize crew, and war correspondents increased the crew compartments complement to over 2,200 men. Roughly 600 of the crew came from light cruiser Karlsruhe, which had been long lost during Operation Weserübung, the German invasion of Norway. Bismarck's crew published a ship newspaper titled Die Schiffglocke, the ship's bell. Bismarck carried four Arado R 19 196 Renaissance float planes in a double hangar amidships and two single hangar abreast the funnel. You know, actually, Skyrat, yeah, welcome. I wasn't planning on doing this, but we had a topic chosen, and that's how it ended up. That's just how it is. But yeah, with a ended fort ship catapult, the armament and armor of the Bismarck being a main battery of 38 centimeters, 15 inches in freedom units, SKC 38 guns arranged in four twin gun turret, two super firing turrets forward, Anton and Bruno, and two aft, Caesar and Dora. Secondary arms. Wait. That's fair. Oh, that is so fair. I, I'm not used to reading for people, and I don't know if I'm even reading good enough. But that's just how it is. Now I'm reading Bismarck lore, fucking German, German lore. I'm reading the Germans lore, and that right? Yeah, you know what? Let me put on Sabaton. I feel like I need to at this point. Um, I am just reading the lore of Bismarck. Yeah. Actually, let me just Bismarck. Um, I'm just gonna put Bismarck on loop in the background at 1% volume. Um, So my voice will definitely still be the main power. But you might sometimes be able to hear Bismarck in the background, just lightly. But yes, the secondary armaments consisting of 12 15 centimeters 5.9 inches L-55 guns. The main battery and secondary guns were aimed from 3 fire-controlled direction stations using mechanical computers to plot target distances and courses, and to calculate angles for guns. On top of each fire control station, a rangefinder was mounted in a rotating cupola, a F FUMO 23 Seetakt radar was installed by March of 1941 at the front of all three cupolas. The heavy anti-aircraft armaments consisted of 16 10.5 centimeters 4.1 inches C-33 guns in 8 twin mountings. The forward two pairs of guns mounted were the old C-31 type, while the left two pair were the newer C-37 type. The middle and light anti-aircraft armaments consist of 16 3.7 centimeter or 1.5 inches C-30 and initially 12 2 centimeter slash 0.79 inches C-30 anti-aircraft guns. In April of 1941, two of these single 2 centimeter guns were mounted on the searchlight platform on the foretop, where were replaced by two quadruple 2 centimeter C-38 guns. Anti-aircraft fire control for the 10.5 centimeter guns were provided by 4 stabilized SL-8 directors. Oh, Tex, Tex, you're just making me read German lore. Oh no, I'm becoming a Nazi channel. I mean, to be fair, World War II history is fucking great lore to just read. But yeah. I mean, Canada, if you want, we can actually vote on the next Wikipedia page I can read if you want. So let's see here. Yeah. 4 stabilized SL-8 directors through the 3 point. Oh no, World War One lore. I can read that after. We're not even a quarter way through this. Oh no, there's so much left of this Wikipedia page. You Tex. No. Oh, Tex, you just want to read war lore. Oh, I'm becoming a war channel. Oh no. I mean, war is cool and all. Oh no. Though the 3.7 and 2 centimeter guns were only given portable rangefinders, the ship's main belt was 320 millimeters, 12.6 inches thick, and was covered by a pair of upper and main armored decks that were 50 millimeters, 2 inches, and 100 to 120 millimeters, 39 to 4.7 inches thick, respectively. The 38 centimeters, 15 inches turrets were protected by 360 millimeter, 4.2 inch thick faces and 222 millimeter, 8.7 inch thick sides. Okay, here's the thing. We have read the armored armor, the design, the basic summary of the lore. We can do one more thing. You guys can get one more thing in the Bismarck and then I believe it would be better to head to another thing. So we have a few options here. We have the Operation Rheinrebung. We have the Battle of Denmark Strait, and we have the one called Chase. Which one do you guys want me to read? Do we want to do the Operation Rheinrebung, the Battle of Denmark Strait? We are... Okay, that is Dramak, which I will just auto put over to the Battle of Denmark Strait. And if no one else says anything, I'm just going with that. Yeah, we're just going with that. God, that is so long. That's basically the same length as all we've done so far. Oh my god. Okay, let's get this going. I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Hope you don't mind. I love water. Tastes so good. Water tastes so good when you're dehydrated. Okay. The Battle of Denmark Strait. At 5:45 on May a.m. on May 24th, German lookouts spotted smoke on the horizon. This turned out to be from Hood and Prince of Wales under the command of Vice Admiral Lancelot Holland. I know. Lieutenants ordered his ship's crew to the battle stations by 5:52 a.m. The range had fallen to 26,000 meters, or 28,000 yards, and the Hood opened fire, followed by Prince of Wales a minute later. Hood engaged Prince Eugen, which British thought to be Bismarck, while Prince of Wales fired on Bismarck. Adalbert Schneider, the first gunnery officer aboard Bismarck, twice requested permission to return fire, but lieutenants hesitated. Lindemannen intervened, muttering, "I will not let my ship be shot down from under my ass." He demanded permission to fire from lieutenants, who relented, and at 5:55 ordered his ships to engage the British. The British ships approached the German ships head-on, which permitted them to use only their forward-facing guns. The Bismarck and Prince Eugen could fire full broadside several minutes after opening fire. Holland ordered a 20-degree turn to port, which would allow his ships to engage with their rear guns. Both German ships concentrated their fire on the Hood about a minute after opening fire. Prince Eugen scored a hit with a high explosive 20.3 centimeter inch shell, 23 centimeter and 8-inch shell. The explosion detonated unrotated projectile ammunition, started a large fire which was quickly extinguished. After firing 3 4-gun salvos, Schneider had found the range to the Hood. He immediately ordered a rapid-fire salvo from the Bismarck's 8 30-inch, 30-centimeter guns. He also ordered the ship's 15-centimeter secondary guns to engage Prince of Wales. Holland then ordered a second 20-degree turn to port to bring his ship's full parallel course with Bismarck and Prince. Second. Prince Eugen. Lieutenants ordered Prince Eugen to shift and fire and target Prince of Wales to keep both of his opponents under fire. Within a few minutes, Prince Eugen scored a pair of hits on the battleship and started a small fire. Lieutenants ordered Prince Eugen to dock behind Bismarck's. No, Tex, we could do that. I'm not very good at that game, but I mean, we could do that. That could be an idea for another day. You're just enjoying me reading this too much. Uh, and you saying anything just threw me out of the loop. But yeah, to drop behind Bismarck so she could continue to monitor the location of Norfolk and Suffolk, which were still 10 to 12 NMI, 19 to 22 kilometers, and 12 to 14 miles to the east at 6 o'clock. Hood was completing the second turn to port when Bismarck's fifth salvo hit of the two shells landed short, striking the water close to the ship. But at least one of the 38-centimeter armor-piercing shells struck Hood and penetrated her thin deck armor. The shell reached Hood's rear ammunition magazine and detonated 112 110 long tons of carotidite propellant. The massive explosion broke the back of the ship between the main mast and the rear funnel. The forward section continued to move forward briefly before the inrushing water caused the bow to rise and the ship to steep angle. The stern also rose as water rushed to the ripped open compartments. Schneider exclaimed, "He is sinking," over the ship's loudspeakers. In only 8 minutes of firing, Hood had disappeared, taking all but 3 of her crew of the 1,419 men with her. Bismarck then shifted fire to Prince of Wales. The British battleship scored a hit on Bismarck with her 6th salvo, but the German ship found her mark with her first salvo. One of the shells struck the bridge of Prince of Wales, though it did not explode, instead exited the other side, killing everyone in the ship's command center, save for Captain Jack John Leach, which is a really unfortunate name for being the one guy who survived an explosion. Actually, the lack of an explosion. The ship's commanding officer and one other. The two... Okay, yeah, no, that is... John Leach surviving. That's the only... That's one of the very few commanding officers left. But he's the actual commander of the ship. That is John Leach. Holy hell. The two German ships continued fire upon Prince of Wales, causing serious damage. Guns malfunctioned, and the recently commissioned British ship, which still had civilian technicians aboard, despite technical faults on the main battery, Prince of Wales scored 3 hits on Bismarck in the engagement. The first struck her in the forecastle above the waterline, but low enough to allow crashing waves to enter the hull. The second shell struck below her armored belt and exploded on contact with the torpedo bulkhead, completely flooding the turbo generator room, partially flooding an adjacent boiler room. The third shell passed through one of the boats carried along the ship, and then went through the floatplane catapult without exploding. At 6:13, Leach gave the order to retreat. Only 5 of the ship's 10 14-inch 356mm guns were still firing, and his ship had sustained significant damage. Prince of Wales had made a 160-degree turn and laid a smoke screen to cover her withdrawal. The Germans ceased fire as the range widens, though Lindemann strongly advocated chasing Prince of Wales and destroying her. Lieutenants obeyed operational orders to shun any avoidable engagements with enemy forces that were not protecting a convoy. Firmly rejecting the request, instead ordered Bismarck and Prinz Eugen to head to the north of the Atlantic. In the engagement, Bismarck had fired 93 armor-piercing shells and had been hit by 3 shells in return. The forecastle allowed 1,000 to 2,000 tons, 980 to 1,000 and 970 long tons of floodwater into the ship, which had contaminated fuel stored in the bow. Lieutenants refused to reduce the speed to allow damage control teams to repair the shell. No, wait. Lieutenants refused to reduce the speed to allow damage control teams to repair the shell, which widened and allowed for more water into the ship. The second hit caused some additional flooding. Shell splinters from the second hit also damaged the steam line in the turbo generator room, but this was not serious as Bismarck had sufficient other generator reservoirs. The combined flooding from these two hits caused a 9-degree tilt to port, a 3-degree trim by the bow. While Prince of Wales was retreating, the high-prone operators on Prince Eugen detected torpedoes, which was unlikely that torpedoes were actually fired, but both German ships took evasive measures. Measures. Ah, word. I need more water. I can feel my throat tingling. I don't even know if I'm doing the right tone of voice for this reading, but it feels correct to read from Wikipedia with this tone of voice. And I hope that you are all able to engage in your very, very lovely actions like destroying the entirety of the world in Hearts of Iron, or simply doing something else. But yes, while Prince Wales was retreating, yeah, there it is. Yeah, took evasive measures. Moist critical does not sound this exact way, though I do like the fact that you do notice the fact that this is a very monotone and direct reading voice, which I do have a quite significant method of using, which is simply to remove all tone and frequency while talking, though I do still have a bit of vocal range with it, due to the fact that I am able to speak in this voice. At the same time, shadowing short Sunderland flying float from the 121st Squadron RAF approached too closely and the German heavy anti-aircraft artillery fired on it. A Lockheed Hudson from the 269th Squadron RAF witnessed the battle from a distance and remained in touch until 8:08 after the battle. The Sunderland reported the oil slick and guided the destroyer Electra to the site where Hood had blown up. The destroyer found only 3 survivors. And that was the last segment of Bismarck that we will be reading. Now, would anyone like to give me another Wikipedia article we can read on to? 'Cause it's funny. Okay. We need another Wikipedia article to read. Um, d- do we have to do military? I'm just asking. Like, I'll find it if I need to. Like, that's not the issue. Yes. Does this have a Wikipedia page? Is